You're watching Tag TV.
Hello and welcome to Newsweek South Asia, a program that exposes Pakistan's role and nexus in promoting global terrorism and its funding. Here are the headlines. Over 30 people, including many journalists, killed in terror attacks in Afghanistan. Pakistan-backed militants create mayhem in Jammu and Kashmir. Pakistan removes public prosecutor of 26/11 Mumbai terror attacks for not taking government line. And Pakistan, a hub of global terrorism, say experts. Let's begin the show with grim news coming out of Afghanistan's Kabul city, where two suicide bombers strategically carried out their plans during the morning rush hour. The coordinated blast claimed by the Islamic State, that is ISIS, killed at least 30 people, including 10 journalists. Newsweek South Asia has a report.
The security situation in Afghanistan is getting bad to worse. On 30th April, a blast took place in the part of Kabul city that houses the US Embassy and other government facilities. When journalists rushed to the scene, they were joined by a bomber disguised as a TV cameraman who detonated himself among the crowd roughly half an hour later. The blast killed 31 people, including 10 journalists.
دشمن توانست گفته میشه که در بین هنمی مطبوعات ما کمره جای با جای کردن و خود انتحار کردن که اکثرا سبب شهادت و مجروحیت ژورنالیست های عزیز ما و یک تعداد هموطنان ما که در می بلاک‌ها زندگی داشتن و راهروایی که اینجا می رفتن البته توقف کرده بودن تا ساحه را ببینن شهید و زخمی شدن.
Journalists identified as Shah Marai of AFP, Mehram Durrani and Abdullah Hanzai of Radio Free Europe, Yar Mohammad Tohki of Tolo News and Salim Talash of Mashal TV were among those killed in the blast. Reuters photographer Omar Sobhani was among the few journalists who survived the attack and was able to capture some of the moments before withdrawing to seek help.
ساعت صبح ساعت‌های 7:30 صبح بود که ما در دفتر بودیم که صدای انفجار را شنیدیم. ما با استقامت ساحه در حرکت شدیم. وقتی که در ساحه رسیدیم نیروهای امنیتی ساحه را انسداد کرده بودند و ما از ساحه دورتر استاد بودیم، منتظر بودیم تا اینکه بر ما اجازه داده شود ما بتونیم که از کوارج داشته باشیم. که همون تو به مرور زمان مطبوعات داشت می آمد، با هم یک جای می شدیم در یک منطقه مشخص که یک گوشه از سرک عمومی بود. تقریبا در حدود 30 یا 40 دقیقه گذشته بود از حادثه که یک تعداد از اعضای مطبوعات هم جمع شده بودند و مردم محلی هم که در ساحه بودند یا پیاده رو در گذر بودند که در هینمی اسنا در بین ما اعضای مطبوعات یک انفجار بسیار مهیبش صدا رخ داد که ما شاهد دود آتشی بودم که خودم دود آتش به چشمایم دیدم. دوستایم که در چپ و راست ما استاد بودند و هر کی که در ساحه در محوطه بودیم همگی به زمین افتیدند و کلشان ما متوجه ازی شدم که دیدیم که همه جان خود از دست دادن، کدام کس به زخمی نیست که بتونیم از کمک های اولیه را اجرا بکنیم یا به شفاخانه انتقالش بکنیم.
The Islamic State has reportedly claimed responsibility for the twin attacks. It was a second attack on journalists in Afghanistan over the past week. Taliban militants who launched their so-called annual offensive recently have intensified operations in the war-battered Afghanistan. On the very same day in Kandahar, 11 children were killed and 16 people, including 5 Romanian soldiers, were wounded after a car bomb detonated near a school. US Secretary of Defense Jim Mattis said that the NATO will hold the line in Afghanistan.
We said last August NATO is going to hold the line. We knew there would be tough fighting going forward. the murder of journalists and other innocent people is a great testimony to what it is we stand for, more importantly, what we stand against. The Afghan military is being made more capable. You'll notice that more of the forces are special forces, advised and assisted, accompanied by NATO mentors, and these are the most effective forces. So the expansion there is why the enemy has been unable to take any district centers, provincial centers, or make any advances there. We anticipated and are doing our best and have been successful at blocking many of these attacks on innocent people, but unfortunately once in a while they get through, because any terrorist organization that realizes it can't win by ballots and turns to bombs, this is simply what they do. They murder innocent people. We'll stand by the Afghan people, we'll stand by the Afghan government, and the NATO mission will continue as we drive them to a political settlement.
People in Afghanistan have been facing decades of long war. Be it the Taliban or the Islamic State, they have sanctuaries near the Durand Line inside Pakistan territory. On several occasions, Afghanistan has accused Pakistan of sheltering terrorists who carry out major attacks. However, Pakistan denies allegations of sending militants to Afghanistan.
Porous borders between Afghanistan and Pakistan allow these terrorists to easily cross over. Moving on, the Indian state of Jammu and Kashmir has always been a victim of a proxy war, which has been engineered and promoted by neighboring Pakistan. Experts believe the root cause of terrorism in Kashmir Valley is based on religion, which Islamabad has used to cash in. We have a report.
Terrorism in Jammu and Kashmir was the theme of a day-long conference organized jointly by the University of Leicester and the Amsterdam-based European Foundation for South Asian Studies, EFSAS. Experts discussed the reasons behind the rise in terror incidents in the Kashmir Valley. EFSAS director and a Kashmir writer, Junaid Qureshi, believes that Pakistan has been fueling terrorism in the Kashmir Valley by cashing in on religious sentiments.
There were 200 terrorists killed in the Valley of Kashmir, and out of those 200 terrorists, 70% were not Kashmiris. They were Pakistani nationals who came to Kashmir to fight. Just recently, you had last month you had a dozen terrorists killed in the valley only. So main issue of introducing terrorism into Kashmir by the Pakistani state, by the Pakistani military, by the Pakistani intelligence agencies, and then keeping it to the valley of Kashmir only, was to arouse the Muslim religious sentiments of the people living over there. Because you have a bigger region, which is Kashmir. There was no terrorism there. There is no terrorism in Ladakh, because most of the people are Buddhist. So there's not a unifying force. Religion, of course, can be a very uniting and a unifying force, which in turn turned the issue into a very religious issue. And religious issues don't work well. When you have a political issue and you keep it politically and your struggle is political, you can get to some solution. Religious issues are very difficult to solve.
The Kashmir Valley continues to remain tense as Pakistan-backed terrorists go on a killing spree. On April 30, 3 civilians were shot dead by Lashkar-e-Taiba militants in the old town of Baramulla district. The men, all in their early 20s, were shot at from a very close range in Iqbal Market, killing them on the spot. They are identified as Asif Ahmed Sheikh, Hasib Ahmed Khan and Muhammad Asghar. It is believed the terrorists retaliated after top Hizbul commander Samir Ahmed Bhatt, alias Samir Tiger, was killed by the security forces.
It's a tragedy that 3 innocent people who were sitting on a shop front were targeted and killed by terrorists. This raises a fundamental question about human rights in Kashmir. The separatists who are quick to condemn any violation which they consider a violation by the security forces, why are they silent on this human rights violation where terrorists have targeted ordinary citizens?
What now needs to be done? That the central government and the state government must get their act together. India cannot be treated like a banana republic. Those who are bucking the system must be dealt with very strongly. Shoot at sight orders must be given to the security forces so as to ensure that the rule of the law prevails and the sanctity and the authority of the state is not allowed to be challenged. Secondly, the sympathizers of the stone pelters, that is the separatists, their chapter must be brought to a close. Not a word of condemnation from them. The other day, when Samir Tiger was laid into dust, they ordered a 2-day Bandh in the valley. It is they who continue to pour money into the hands of the pelters. They continue to say that Kashmir is a disputed territory. Kashmir is an unalienable part of India. There is no dispute about it whatsoever.
The separatists sitting in Srinagar, who get instructions from Islamabad, are fueling the sentiments of hatred and violence in the state. They are instigating stone pelters to create mayhem in the Kashmir Valley. Recently, 2 school-going children were injured, one of them critically in the head, when stone pelters attacked their school bus in Shopian. Separately, 3 tourists were injured in other stone pelting attacks on tourist vehicles in South Kashmir. The incidents of violence perpetrated by terrorists and stone pelters are affecting the common people in Jammu and Kashmir.
On one side, Pakistan backs terrorism in Kashmir. On the other hand, it raises the issue of alleged human rights violations in the Kashmir Valley. Its intention to create trouble in the Indian state is well exposed. Moving on, Pakistan recently sacked the chief public prosecutor of 2611 probe, citing the reason that the prosecutor had not been towing the government line. This move can be termed as something which is completely predictable from Pakistan, which has been shielding Mumbai terror attack mastermind Hafiz Saeed. Newsweek South Asia takes a look.
The fateful night of 26 November 2008 will never be forgotten. It was then 10 members of Lashkar-e-Taiba, an Islamic terrorist organization based in Pakistan, carried out a series of 12 coordinated shooting and bombing attacks which went on for 4 days in Mumbai. The attacks, which drew widespread global condemnation, killed 164 people and wounded over 300. Muhammad Ajmal Amir Kasab was one among the 10 terrorists captured alive. He confessed to be a Pakistani national who disclosed about training by Lashkar-e-Taiba. The victims' families, who desired to get justice after some 10 years, took a hit when Pakistan's Interior Ministry abruptly removed the Federal Investigation Agency's special prosecutor, which clearly implies that Islamabad was saving terrorists responsible for the ghastly attack.
पाकिस्तान की यह एक और नई शैतानी चाल है। पाकिस्तान सरकार ने अभी 26/11 के आतंकी हमले की ट्रायल खत्म होने की इंतजार में ही, अगर उन्होंने उनके चीफ पब्लिक प्रोसिक्यूटर हटा दिया है और उसकी वजह वो बताते हैं कि वो उनकी नहीं सुन रहे थे, इसका मतलब क्या है? 2008 से उनके वो सरकारी वकील काम कर रहे थे, 2018 तक उन्हें पता नहीं चला। इसका मतलब है कि उनको उन सभी दहशतगर्दी को बचाना है।
The move by the Pakistani officials comes with a vague clarification that the prosecutor, Chaudhry Azhar, was not towing government line. According to the media reports from Pakistan, Azhar, who is known for handling high-profile and sensitive cases like the Benazir assassination case, developed differences with the government over the manner the case was being pursued.
चौधरी साहब को मैं अच्छी तरह से जानता हूं, जो पाकिस्तान के मुख्य सरकारी वकील थे। उन्होंने बम्बई में जुडिशियल कमीशन के साथ बम्बई में आए थे। उन्होंने हमारे 26/11 के आतंकी हमले के कुछ गवाह की क्रॉस एग्जामिन की थी।
Azhar was quoted saying that the government had offered no explanation for sacking him. In his 2016 testimony, terrorist David Headley, who is currently serving a 35-year jail term in the United States, had praised Ajmal Kasab for carrying out the strikes and revealed that he had visited Mumbai 7 times before the attacks and surveyed strategic locations such as the Bhabha Atomic Research Center, BARC, and a naval base.
डेविड हेडली की गवाही लेने के बाद पाकिस्तान सरकार पे जो दबाव बन रहा है, उससे बचने के लिए पाकिस्तान और ये कह सकता है कि हम इस ट्रायल को लॉजिकल एंड को नहीं लेके जा रहे, क्योंकि हमने सरकारी वकील हमारे नहीं सुन रहे, इसलिए पाकिस्तान और कई कितने सालों तक गुमराह करने की कोशिश करेगा, बेहतर वही जाने।
The Lashkar-e-Taiba was believed to have plotted the 26/11 attacks. Its mastermind, Hafiz Saeed, has been roaming freely in Pakistan. New Delhi has, time and again, protested against Islamabad for harboring Saeed, who is wanted for allegedly plotting many attacks in India. On a related note, Saeed, who had recently been released from house arrest, is also looking to contest the general elections in Pakistan later this year and has thereby formed a party by the name of Milli Muslim League MML.
Seven Lashkar-e-Taiba suspects, including Zakiur Rahman Lakhvi and Abdul Wajid, are facing charges of abetment to murder, attempted murder, planning and executing the Mumbai attack since 2009 at an anti-terrorist court in Islamabad. Moving on, Pakistan has been facing global criticism for its support to terrorists hiding in its territory. They are not only causing harm to neighboring countries like India and Afghanistan, but the people in Pakistan too suffer in the hands of these terrorists. We have a report.
On April 22nd, 3 suicide bombers attacked Pakistani police and paramilitary soldiers in Balochistan's Quetta city. 6 people were killed and 15 others were wounded in the dreaded attack. Though no one immediately claimed responsibility for the attacks, such incidents have become more common in Pakistan, where the Taliban, Al-Qaeda and Islamic State operate openly. The state has failed to take any action to eradicate the menace.
Or whether Pakistan is a state sponsor of terrorism or not, there is no debate about that, because Pakistan at its very inception of birth was committed to acts of terrorism. Its very inception and its doctrine of two-nation theory, which suggests that people of two religions cannot live in a common piece of land, yet exist as a people who've never been a people. So throughout history there has been no such thing as Pakistan, and hopefully in the future there might not be, because it's an acronym. It's not like we are talking the Turks or the Persians or the Arabs or the Greeks or the Congolese or the Cambodians or the Chinese. We're talking about a people who have been given a certain acronym by people who did not even want to be there.
Despite criticism, Pakistan continues to host wanted terrorists and criminals like gangster Dawood Ibrahim, Mumbai terror attack mastermind Hafiz Saeed, and chief of Hizbul Mujahideen Sayyid Salahuddin. The United States had earlier tracked down the architect of the 9/11 attacks and the founder of Al-Qaeda, Osama bin Laden, who was hiding in a walled compound less than a mile away from Pakistan's elite military academy in Abbottabad. It is believed that Pakistan, being a nuclear state, possesses more danger to the world.
But it so happens that there are 200 nukes that are in the possession of people who have played host to Osama bin Laden. And if I was taking this viewpoint from a totally amateurish manner, I would ask a simple question to people not interested in the complications of Pakistan as to what was Osama bin Laden doing in a Pakistan military academy for so many years. And that said, the ambivalence with which the Western nations have allowed the man who identified where Osama bin Laden was to live in jail forever strikes me as if that The rest of the world simply wants to move away from one complication to another to enjoy beautiful days like today.
Pakistan has been facing sanctions by the United States and the European Union for providing sanctuary to the dreaded terrorists. The Financial Action Task Force, a global money laundering watchdog, decided its plenary sessions in February to put Pakistan on its grey list if the country fails to take satisfactory measures to check the terror financing by June. The decision comes as a result of the strategic deficiencies in Pakistan's anti-money laundering terror financing infrastructure. There are concerns that despite all pressures, Pakistan fails to act against terror outfits.
So there is a growing concern. Of course, the support of terrorism, but also the trade. The GSP Plus scheme was granted due to some condition on human rights, on labor laws, and I think there's more and more experts visiting Pakistan who check the situation is not improving at all, despite all the speeches or maybe some law that there is no implementation. So there is a growing concern.
It appears that Pakistan's government underestimates the economic risks, arguing that previously when the country was on the grey list between 2012 to 2015, it still received foreign remittance and loans from the international institutions. But the country seems to have difficult times ahead, as it not only faces a threat of economic sanctions, but diplomatic isolation as well.
Terrorist group Jamaat-ud-Dawa is making all efforts to make its presence in country's political circle. It desires to participate in general elections scheduled this year. And with that, we come to the end of this edition of Newsweek South Asia. We will be back next week with more news, views and analysis from the subcontinent. Meanwhile, do keep writing to us at nwsa@anin.com. This is Mariam signing off on behalf of the entire production team of Newsweek South Asia. Goodbye and take care.